his kid, with his grandma. So the sun is setting. It's like this beautiful sunset. Is how I'm imagining it when he's telling the story. And the kid is like, I think the kid says something like, "Oh, like that's so beautiful" or something. I think the kid said something about it. And then the mom or the grandma is like, you see that? God made that. I guess I didn't give any context of why I'm already like laughing about it already. But it's like the parents of that kid, they don't want to raise their kid like that. The
kid was like, I thought it was the Big Bang.
Yeah. So the kid was like, yeah. The kid responds, I thought it was the Big Bang that made that. And she's like, God made that too. God made the Big Bang too. And it, she was, which I feel like, I feel like maybe there was like a little bit of like, oh, maybe they don't tell him about God or something like that she could have done before she took like that. And that second time of saying, oh, well, that's also God. But whatever. Point is, that she was saying that, and then they had to like ask her to not do that because they don't want to raise their kid. I don't know exactly how they want to raise their kid, but at the very least, they don't want him to think that there's a God. So I don't know if they want him to think like other religious stuff from other religions or anything, but at the very least, they don't want him to think that like the sun and everything was created by like a God, or at least maybe they don't want people just telling them.
So many conditions.
Yeah, it's because like, well, now I'm like thinking about it. Now I'm like, well, what do they want? Like, what can I like?
We don't know this person very closely, and we have no way to talk to them about this. Yeah. We're just talking about whether or not we think that is like the right thing to do or not do, and just because we think it's like a hot take kind of conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm like, basically I was thinking is, I wonder how they feel about that. I wonder if she kept pressing them. Like, do I think that, for me, it was a very quick, like, she shouldn't do that anymore. But, maybe it's okay. I feel like in some ways, it's also not really okay to just say that God made things to, like, somebody else's kid. Like, because I don't know, but like it's common knowledge that some people don't believe in that. So like to just like somebody else's kid just be like, God made that. I feel like it's kind of weird to do that. So you have no idea what the fuck they believe in and how they want how they want to raise their kid or anything. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're so close though. I would think that his mom knows that already.
Yeah, but some people don't care. Like, they're like, well, it's God. It's the most important thing in this universe. I've got to tell him about it. Mm-hmm. Like, Yeah. But, like, I was, like, listening to both sides of, like, the conversation. And I think I just kind of ended up concluding, like, regardless of what you want to raise your kid with, or, like, what the outside influences are on the kid, like, no matter what side you're taking, like, the kid is not going to understand, like, what that means. Like, for a little kid,
he's kind of just reflecting
God and the Big Bang and stuff like that is just too big of a concept for little kids to understand. Mm-hmm. And even, like, grown adults don't understand it. And eventually, like, you're going to send your kid to school and they're going to hear about all the things that you don't tell them or do tell them or whatever. Like, the world is just going to happen to your kid, and there's only so much, like, filtering you can do of that. Mm-hmm. And they're just going to decide what they believe on their own at some point. Yeah. Like, regardless.
I think
is, like, kind of what I ended up feeling like. I was like, yeah.
But back... Yeah, all that. but back to, like, kind of the base, level of whatever we're talking about. I feel like people shouldn't, like, yesterday I actually was thinking, oh, like, I feel like it's fine to kind of say that if nobody's told you otherwise, like whether it's okay or not. But now thinking about it, I actually feel like it's not okay to say that, even if somebody hasn't told you yet, to not say that. Like I would never do that. I would never tell someone else's kid, like, even if it was my brother's kid, my cousin's kid, I don't know, whoever's kid, I would never tell them there is or isn't a God. You know, like, without knowing what their stance is on that. Like, and, you know, I definitely wouldn't do it if I knew that they, like, might not believe in God, or they might believe in God. Like, I definitely wouldn't do the opposite if I had a hint of either of those. So, you know, think about it now. I actually think I changed my mind from what I thought yesterday, and I do not think it's okay to just tell somebody else's kid, like, that's something it was created by God, when you have no idea what their stance is on that.
I agree with you, but I also just want to verbalize that I think, like, our generation collectively agrees on that, but, like, our parents and, like, our grandparents, I think, are just, like, in a different world.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to that.
I mean, it's like,
I think they're just like, well, he's the, like, God is the most important thing, so like, we should just tell him about it.
Yeah, or like to them,
part of the whole religion is spreading that news, like, that information. So, like, I think, like, we can all collectively agree, like, in our generation about that, but I think convincing the older generation about that would be pretty hard.
Yeah. On another level, in other news, I don't know how to fucking say what I'm trying to say, but people that believe in God or are Christian or whatever, I mean, they probably, they're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah,
is what,
it's part
from my
of their
understanding,
religion.
it's like that's what they're supposed to be doing. Which I think is, I don't know, kind of toxic, I guess. But in that situation, but they think that they're saving him or something, or it's like, well, you're wrong to tell him that there isn't a God. Like, what, you know? It's like I can at least give this kid, like, the information, the correct information that he deserves. He doesn't deserve to be lied to by his parents and told, like, that there is no God. You know, that's how I'm imagining maybe someone would think. But I don't know, like, in my opinion, I mean, this is how I view it, is that they are assuming that there's a God. Like, at the base level, I feel like if you question someone enough, at the very end of it, like, someone is like, well, I don't really know. I just, like, am assuming that, or I just have faith. Like, it's like, oh, well, I do know for sure. It's like, well, you're assuming that you do know for sure, is what's really happening. You assume that you do know for sure. Like, you don't actually know for sure. You are assuming that, like, all of your senses and everything are, like, working in the way that you think they are, and you're assuming that you do know.
I mean, even people who don't believe in God, though, are also assuming that there is no God.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, both sides are just like, well, this is what I think.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like maybe I shouldn't talk about it in that way, because I mean,
I think you shouldn't be like.
The argument of going down, like, the road that I was just bringing up is kind of just being like, oh, well, then there's no reason to talk about anything, and it's like,
I don't think that's true.
But
you can still talk about it.
I don't feel like, you know, people should just go to the argument of, like, well, we're just all assuming, even though I just did that, because I think there is, I don't know, I think that there is value in just, like, talking about stuff and not just being like, oh, well, we're all just assuming that, Even though I think at the very base of everything, that's kind of what's actually happening. Maybe I'll just say one more thing to, like really close it out.
Felt pretty closed out already.
Well, I just want to say, I don't think it's like, that big a deal for their grandma to say that something's God or whatever, and I honestly think that it's fine.
The kid is gonna decide whatever the kid wants to think.
Yeah.
At a certain point. Like, it's not like the worst thing in the world is not this kid becoming Christian.
That's true, Sarah. But the parents do have like a fuckload of influence. Like, it's not like, oh, whatever, parents do whatever because the kid is just gonna do whatever he wants anyway. Like,
I'm not saying that. I feel like that's a very big over-exaggeration.
Okay, I thought that those were the words that you were saying, but I think it's fine, pretty much. So people are gonna bump into all different kinds of like ways of viewing things, and it's not like you can't just protect your kid, or I don't even know if I would say you're protecting by doing that, but you can't just make it so your kid never hears other people's opinions or anything like that. It's like that has to happen at some point. He has to hear other people be so sure of themselves and call things like God or whatever when they're not. And so at the end of the day, I think it's totally fine and kind of just like a part of life for situations like that to happen. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't just tell someone's kid, whether something exists or not, when I don't know their fucking views on it. Yeah. All right. Well, please like and subscribe. Seriously, please fucking subscribe and like our videos. We are trying to grow our channel, and it would just help do that if you want to help do that. But if you don't, then don't do that. All right.